Hi, I'm Howard Nema of We Are Change Connecticut, Truth Talk News on truthbroadcastnetwork.com with continuing coverage of the tragic massacre at Sandy Hook Elementary School. Here we have some information regarding the victims.
Good evening. The depth of the horror that took place in this community yesterday has come into even sharper focus tonight as the identities of the victims have been made public, along with revealing details of the killer's final days. Within the last few hours, we have learned that the 20 children murdered in their classrooms at Sandy Hook Elementary School were ages 6 and 7, virtual babies. There were 8 boys and 12 girls. The 6 adult victims were all women, and among them we've learned genuine heroes. Also tonight, the father of one of the young victims is publicly sharing his anguish. We have a lot of ground to cover from here tonight. We want to start with NBC's Ann Thompson. Ann, good evening.
Good evening, Lester. Newtown is a community where people say everybody knows everyone, and tonight it is a place that is in mourning as people learn not just who lost their lives, but as they begin to understand how very young some of the victims were. In Newtown today, shock gave way to the horror of reality. The 26 victims killed at the school, including the 20 children, all died from multiple gunshot wounds.
All the wounds that I know of at this point were caused by the long weapon.
The rifle, one of 3 weapons found near shooter Adam Lanza in Sandy Hook Elementary School. His victims, 6 adult women, 16 6-year-olds, and 4 7-year-olds, including Anna Grace Martinez Green, daughter of Jimmy Green, a renowned jazz saxophonist. Another grieving father tonight is Robbie Parker. He lost his oldest daughter, Emily.
My daughter, Emily, would be one of the first ones to be standing and giving her love and support to all those victims, because that's the type of person that she is. Not because of any parenting that my wife and I could have done, but because those are the gifts that were given to her by her Heavenly Father. As the deep pain begins to settle into our hearts, we find comfort reflecting on the incredible person that Emily was and how many lives that she was able to touch in her short time here on earth.
Now this Christmas card-worthy town is a place of heartbreak.
Christmas has basically been canceled.
Peter Leone owns the Newtown General Store, a Saturday morning gathering place where parents grab coffee and swap stories about their kids' athletic contests. Today, their faces expressed what words could not.
These are the kids that, you babysit for these kids. These kids are no longer. So it's too hard to grasp.
Newspaper front pages of historic events line the store's walls. Now it's their town making headlines.
You're supposed to come to these towns to be safe. That's why we moved here.
The illusion of safety shattered. The town's lone funeral home is overwhelmed and seeking help from other funeral homes.
There's quite a bit
area.
Of lies that the mainstream media perpetrates on us. Isn't that true?
Massacre and murder to children
Propaganda
not old enough to spell
what a wonderful, great country
Robert
we are.
Dunn has a 7-year-old daughter.
I haven't even decided how I'm going to break this news to her or explain to her the horrific tragedy that's happened here in Newtown.
Tonight, in a televised address, Governor Dan Malloy tried to comfort his grief-stricken state.
Let us all hope and pray those children are now in a place where that innocence will forever be protected.
In Newtown, there are signs of encouragement mixed with the rituals of mourning.
The heartache is universal.
And hope that they will get through this tragedy together. Now here, people are starting to ask all kinds of questions, beginning with the question, why? And they are slowly starting to realize that some of the answers may be forever elusive. Lester?
And thank you.
We are getting the first eyewitness accounts of the shooting. One of the teachers who helped her students survive the massacre talked to NBC's Matt Lauer just moments ago.
I was in my classroom with my students. We were having something called morning meeting, which is the way we begin our day. And my kids were involved in an activity that's a part of the morning meeting, like a little game. When I heard what sounded like a popping sound, and than some noises coming over the loudspeaker.
Names and details about the victims are beginning to emerge. NBC's Michelle Franzen standing by in Newtown, Connecticut. Michelle, the names have been released. I understand that all 6 of the adults who were killed were women, and all of the children are between the ages of 6 and 7 years old. Is that correct?
Yes, that is correct. Most of them were told in the first grade, and certainly we are getting a little bit more details on some of the names, of course, and soon to be the faces of these teachers, as well as the students whose lives were taken so violently, so abruptly on that school morning yesterday morning. And as you mentioned, we heard the names that had come out, but we've also heard details about the shooting and many seasoned workers, the medical examiner, the officers, the first responders here, also needing to have, assistance and have counseling during this time, to give you an idea of just what a situation unfolded in that elementary school. We also have been throughout the community here today, and there is a big outpouring of emotion as well as reaching out, starting the healing process. We've not only talked to families who were directly related and affected by this tragic shooting, but also we have talked to people who have ties to this community and felt it was important to come here, to drive here 40 miles, 40 minutes, an hour away, to show their support, to leave flowers, and to just be here. And there's a great heaviness in this community that obviously began yesterday, but it is building in this community. Now that we've learned the names, now that we know in the coming days there will be the preparations and the funerals, we know that there are some very tough days ahead for the family in this community. And many who lived in this area that we talked to never thought that this would touch their town.
Quiet, solemn, it's, very depressing. A lot went on. You feel for the community and all the people and the parents and the children. It's devastating.
Along with all that pain and grief, we're also finding some great stories of not only the heroism, but determination that this community says, even though this has affected them, they are determined to carry forward, to move on, and to heal. And they're doing so with each other, but they also appreciate the outpouring that they are receiving from all around the country. Craig.
NBC's Pete Williams has been working this story from the Washington side. Pete, good morning.
Matt, good morning to you. One of the biggest questions in the last 24 hours has been why. Why did the gunman identified as Adam Lanza choose this school? Now, our initial information was that his mother was actually teaching there. We know that now not to be true. The school officials have said she was never on the full-time staff list, although it's never been completely clear to us yet whether his mother may have been a volunteer or substitute teacher there. But in any event, we know she was not at the school that morning. She was at her house and was killed there. But we're told, and this may turn out to be an important piece of information about the potential motive here, that on the 13th of December, Adam Lanza went to the school, a couple of officials have told us, and got in some kind of altercation, is the word that they use, between him and 4 other staff members. Now, they say that of the 4 staff members that he got into an argument with, 3 were killed in yesterday's shooting. A 4th person was not there. The 4th person was not at school that day, and that staff member is being interviewed by federal investigators, and that may turn out to, or rather federal and state investigators, and that may turn out to be an important piece of information. So we don't know why that altercation took place, what the substance of it, what the nature of it was. And as you heard at the news conference just a few minutes ago, the police there in Connecticut say when they went to the mother's house, they found what they described as some valuable evidence that they think may be able to use, they say, to paint a complete picture as to why. So it does appear that the investigators there are beginning to develop some idea about the motive, though we don't know yet what that is, and I suspect they don't have all the pieces in place yet.
Pete, let me just follow up with you for a second. You say there was this altercation on the 13th of December with these 4 staff members. Do we have any information that any of those staff members thought it was a significant enough altercation that they alerted any authorities about this young man Adam Lanza?
It's a good question. It's way ahead of the information that I have, so no, I don't know the answer.
All right, Pete Williams, thank you very much.
For the first time, we are hearing from a family member of the gunman. Adam Lanza's aunt spoke to reporters just a short time ago in Crystal Lake, Illinois.
He was different. He was quiet. Nice kid, good kid. I mean, he was definitely a challenging family in that house. Every family has one. I have one. They have one. But never in trouble with the law, never in trouble with anything.
That was Marcia Lanza there. NBC's Pete Williams reports that investigators are looking into a report that someone went to Sandy Hook Elementary days before the shooting and then got into some kind of an altercation with staff members. Investigators are looking into whether that person was indeed Adam Lanza. But police say that Lanza forced his way into the school Friday morning. He was not let inside voluntarily.
So we do begin this half hour with an average day at a school that in a flash changed into a day that will be forever remembered for both its horror and its heroism. This Connecticut town still largely in shock. The sights and sounds of Friday's tragedy overwhelming. Moments in time capturing the grief, fear, and loss.
I say there are 20 brighter stars in the heaven than every Christmas light in Newtown.
A town and a nation in mourning for the 26 killed, 20 of them children. But there is also appreciation for the heroes, the teachers and staff at Sandy Hook Elementary who helped protect so many.
We're a pretty small town where, we usually don't get this kind of stuff.
There is still much to learn about the lives cut tragically short. Among the victims, the school's principal, Dawn Hochsprung.
We came here for the schools. They're blue ribbon schools. This is something that just does not happen.
A mother and stepmother to 5 girls, Hochsprung reportedly ran toward the gunfire, along with the school psychologist. They never returned.
How do you recover from something as horrible as this? How do you help a child have to walk into the front door of that school, the next day that they have class and not see their principal?
The 47-year-old took over as principal in 2010. She was described as energetic, engaged, and dedicated. Her Twitter page boasting photos of winter concerts and book drives, reflecting on how proud she was of her school and her students. Earlier this year, a back-to-school tweet that for many now has new meaning. Welcoming our kinders this morning, 74 new opportunities to inspire lifelong learning. There's been an outpouring as well about for Principal Hochsprung, who was just so well loved in this community.
All right, Erica, thank you very much. Let's go over to Savannah.
All right, Matt, thanks. We are joined now by 2 men who knew Principal Dawn Hochsprung, Mark Boughton, the mayor of nearby Danbury, Connecticut, and Jerry Stomsky, the first selectman of neighboring Woodbury, Connecticut. Gentlemen, good morning to you.
Good morning.
This is such a sad morning, and we see the photo of the woman you knew. And Jerry, let me start with you, because I know you worked with Dawn Hochsprung for many, many years. Mm-hmm. When you hear that at the moment of danger, she ran toward those gunshots to find out what was going on and try to protect children. Is that the Dawn you knew?
Oh, absolutely. When Dawn was the principal in our school system, we talked about this exact type of incident. She certainly was inspiring and put her children first. And it was no surprise to me that she came to them. She's actually a hero today.
Is this somebody who thought a lot about these safety issues? She obviously had just implemented a new system where she was trying to make sure that children were in the safest possible conditions.
Yeah, we rehearsed this and we talked about this after the Columbine incident, and ironically enough, one of the things we talked about is the reasons why people do that. And I think if she was here today, one of the things that she would say is that to wait to find out somebody was troubled is too late, and that she felt if she was here to speak, she would say that we as individuals need to reach out, is our responsibility, and try to reach out to these troubled people ahead of time. And I think that's the message that she would be bringing today.